Hey guys, Hades here. So we're going to be looking at more figurative language today. This will be the second lesson in figurative language. So last time we looked at the differences between figurative language and literal language. We looked at metaphors and similes and rhetorical questions and analogies. So this time we're going to look at more types of figurative language. So what other forms of figurative language do you know? What is slang? What is an idiom? Slang is informal language consisting of words and expressions that are not generally used in formal situations. A word can have a real, literal definition, but also a different slang definition. So the best example to use for that is the word cool, right? Cool. Literally, cool can mean a little cold. But the slang definition of cool can mean maybe someone who's very nice or very stylish, right? He's cool. And most of these mean cool. Like awesome means very cool, right? Something really, really cool. Awesome literally means very big, right? But this one over here, and also, well, fat, right? P-H-A-T basically means cool, whereas F-A-T means overweight. Or bigger than usual. But the one that doesn't, the one that's a little different here, is hot, right? Hot literally means very, very warm, the opposite of cold, right? The temperature. But if you describe a person as hot, often that means that person is sexy. Or if you describe an item as hot, that item would be selling well or very popular, right? Idioms are common expressions that have a figurative meaning unrelated to the literal meaning of the phrase. One of my favorite idioms, kick the bucket, has both a literal and figurative meaning, right? If there's a bucket on the ground and you use your foot to kick it, that would be literal, right? I kicked that bucket. Figuratively or idiomatically, kick the bucket means to die. And, by the way, don't use this in a formal situation, right? Use more of a euphemism type idiom. We'll talk about that probably in the next lesson. It would be rude to go up to someone, right, when their partner or their son or their daughter had died. Say, I'm sorry your daughter kicked a bucket, right? We may say, I'm sorry your daughter passed away. And don't let the cat out of the bag. That basically, I guess it could be literal, right? If you put a cat in a bag and you don't want it out. But normally we'll use this figuratively, right? If you let the cat out of the bag, you reveal something that you're not supposed to. Maybe a secret, right? Or it could just be something you don't want this person to know. Maybe you're having a surprise party for someone you don't want this person to know, right? So, okay, Mark's birthday's coming up. We're going to have a surprise party for him. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Don't tell him. Okay, we've got a bunch of idioms here. This is always fun with a live class to have them guess what these mean. But no live class today, just me and a computer. So I'll just explain what these mean. Bun in the oven. It means a woman is pregnant. They're comparing the fetus to a bun and the woman's womb to an oven, right? When it's done cooking, this is kind of an analogy. When it's done cooking, it will come out. The bun will come out of the oven. When the baby's done, or the fetus is done becoming a baby, it will come out of the womb. Give me a hand. That's an easy one, right? Most people already know that one. Just means help me. Lend me your ears. What do you think that means? I think it's relatively easy, but some students don't get it. It just means listen to me. The apple of my eye. Often people get a little confused with this one. They think it has to mean like a lover or something. Really, the apple of my eye or your eye or his eye is just basically your favorite person, right? So it could be a lover, right? It could be a wife or husband, or it could be, I don't know, one of your parents. Often, when we use this, it's someone's children. I'll give you an example. The man really loved his sons, but his daughter was the apple of his eye. Basically, it means your favorite person. Piece of cake. This one's very easy. I've talked about it before. I'll probably talk about it again. Normally, when introducing idioms, this is the easiest one to just talk about. Piece of cake means something that's easy. Filthy rich means very rich. Dirt poor means very poor. But you have to use them exactly like that. You can't say filthy poor or dirt rich. It's always filthy rich or dirt poor. When you start changing words around in an idiom, people won't know what you're talking about. These are figurative language, idiomatic. You have to say them the same. Otherwise, if you use a different word, for literal, it's fine, right? If there was a rich man who was very dirty, you could say dirty rich, it would be okay. That's literal, right? But for the idioms, you have to say filthy rich to mean very rich or dirt poor to mean very poor. Handed to one on a silver platter. Basically, that means someone gets something very easily, maybe undeservedly, right? If something's handed to you on a silver platter, you don't really have to work for it. So let's say you start working at a company the same time as Ed. You come to work on time, Ed is often late. You leave on time, Ed often leaves early. You do all your work, Ed does half his work. And when it's time to give someone a promotion, they give it to Ed because Ed is the boss's son, right? We could say his promotion was handed to him on a silver platter. He didn't really work for it. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. If you like Tolkien, this is a chapter in The Hobbit. And for a long time, I thought Tolkien invented this, but he didn't. It was around hundreds of years before Tolkien. But out of the frying pan and into the fire, picture yourself in a frying pan being cooked, right? You need to do something. So you jump out of the frying pan and you land in the fire, which is a worse situation, right? Now you're burning to death quicker. So basically, out of the frying pan into the fire means you do something to get out of one type of trouble and you end up in another type of trouble. What you did caused you to get out of one trouble but into another kind of trouble, right? If a car is driving down the road straight towards you in your car, you're driving toward them. So you don't want to have a car accident. So you veer off the road and you fall into a lake and you're stuck in your car while it's sinking in the water. You jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire. All right. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This basically means children behaving like their parents, usually in a negative way, right? If, I don't know, if Joe got caught shoplifting, I say, oh, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, meaning one of his parents likes to steal stuff too, right? So it's usually negative, usually people behaving like their parents, but usually negative. Otherwise, we might say like father like son or like mother like daughter. Those could be negative or positive. Usually the apple doesn't fall far from the tree is going to be negative. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out means to watch out for something or maybe look for something, right? If there's something dangerous, right? Keep an eye out for rattlesnakes along this trail. There's a lot of them. Or, hey man, I cannot find my phone. Can you keep an eye out for it? Born with a silver spoon in his mouth or her mouth. Basically, that means born into a wealthy family, right? And if I remember correctly, there was because I used to teach Chinese students. There's an idiom similar to this in China. Pain in the neck or pain in the ass. That means something that's bothersome or annoying or something you don't like, right? My little brother, he always comes into my room and bothers me. He's a real pain in the neck. Or my boss always gives me too much work. He's a real pain in the ass, right? Now keep in mind, ass is kind of a bad word. So if you're in a polite situation, use neck. If you're with your friends, you could say you could use ass. It's okay. All right, and the last one here, break a leg. That just means good luck. It actually started in theater. I don't remember the whole story, but basically it started in theater, and actors would tell themselves or tell their fellow actors to break a leg when they go on stage. And it has transferred over into real life. So if you said, hey, Hades, I have a big test tomorrow, I say, all right, break a leg, meaning good luck. All right, what is onomatopoeia? What is personification? What is allusion? Onomatopoeia is a word that is designed to be an imitation of a particular sound, right? Words like meow, squeak, bang, and boom are examples of onomatopoeia. Okay, in the classroom, when I'm talking about this, I will slam the desk real hard and say bang, right? These are words that are designed to sound like the actual sound they make, right? Like meow, cats. In English we say meow. Other languages I know have different things. Meow sounds similar to the sound a cat makes, right? So we say meow. Oh, so these are all words designed to sound like the actual sound they make. Personification is the attribution of personal nature to inanimate objects or abstract ideas. Basically, it is used to humanize non-human things, right? So we'll look at the examples here. The car coughed to life. Cars can't cough or come to life, right? That's using personification. We're giving the car human attributes. The flowers danced in the breeze, right? Flowers don't dance. Basically here, what they mean is the flowers, the wind was blowing them, so they're moving around gently in the breeze. Maybe we say they're dancing, but they're not really humans, they're not really dancing. The sun glared down on us. The sun can't glare, right? It doesn't have eyes. What they mean is it's very hot out. And the camera loves him. The camera is an inanimate object, so it can't love anyone, right? So when we say the camera loves him, this is a phrase we might often use. Basically, we mean, and we could call this an idiom too, really, because we say it a lot. It's a phrase most people know. The camera loves him. That means that this person takes good pictures, right? Let's say there's two people. They both look the same or similar, right? They have similar beauty, let's say, similar looks. One of them takes good pictures, right? Some people take better pictures than others. Every picture you take, they look good. Other people, like I think me, take awful pictures. I don't like the way I look in most pictures. So if someone takes good pictures, like every picture you take of this person, they look good. We might say the camera loves him or the camera loves her. Here's some personification in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The moon gazed on my midnight labors, while with unrelaxed and breathless eagerness I pursued nature to her hiding places. Of course, the moon can't gaze. It doesn't have eyes, right? And you can't really pursue nature to her hiding places, right? Nature's not a her. Nature's not a female. An allusion is a reference to a famous event or person. For allusion to be effective, the reader or listener has to be aware of the person or thing being referenced, right? Now, this is interesting. You say he works faster than the Easter Bunny. When I say that in China, I say, what does that mean? And I would say 90% of the time, students don't know. They don't know much about Easter or the Easter Bunny, so it's an allusion that is ineffective to them, right? So I might say the fence was longer than the Great Wall of China. That's an allusion. That's a reference to the Great Wall of China. They'll understand that. But because they don't celebrate Easter, they don't know what the Easter Bunny is. That's an ineffective allusion. So for an allusion to be effective, the person you're talking to has to know what you're talking about, right? So if I say he's as strong as Heracles, if you know Greek mythology, you know who Heracles was, the strongest man in the world. You might know him better as Hercules, his Roman name. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Heracles or Hercules, you won't know what I'm talking about. So for an allusion to be effective, the person, the listener or the read or the the listener or the reader has to know what you're referring to, what you are talking about. All right. What does exaggerate mean? What is hyperbole? What is an understatement? Exaggerate means to make something seem more, or make something seem better, or make something seem worse, right? For example, let's say if I were exaggerating, last night I went outside and 3 guys attacked me and were fighting me. Then the next day when I tell the story, I say 5 guys attacked me. That's an exaggeration. In a way, it's kind of a lie, right? It's maybe not a 100% lie. I was attacked, but I exaggerated the number of people who attacked me. Hyperbole is basically a figure of speech that uses an extravagant or exaggerated statement to express strong feelings, right? I'm so hungry, I could eat a whole horse. Well, no, you can't. It might take you a month or 2 to eat a whole horse, right? Because that's a big animal. A human can't eat that in one sitting or at one time or even in one day, right? So that would be hyperbole. And I really love this thing on the right here. They're using hyperbole to explain hyperbole, right? Hyperbole is without a doubt the single greatest thing in the history of the universe. That's hyperbole. They're using hyperbole to explain what hyperbole is. Just an exaggeration, right? A literary exaggeration. An understatement is in some ways the opposite of hyperbole, right? In an understatement, less force or feeling is used than would be normally expected. So understatement is the opposite of hyperbole, right? Understatement is the opposite of exaggeration, right? Now look at the thing on the right. There's a ship sinking, right? And everyone's rowing away. The ship's going down. Someone says, I think there's a leak. Right? That's an understatement. Yeah, of course there's a leak. There's a huge leak. The ship is sinking. So that's an understatement. Okay, let's say I had not eaten in a week. I was literally starving, right? And I don't know, I was out in the woods. I finally make it back to civilization. And someone says, are you hungry? And I might say, I can eat. That's an understatement. Of course I can eat. I'm starving. I haven't eaten in a week, right? So understatement is the opposite of exaggeration or hyperbole. And that's where we're going to end it today, guys. Here's where we'll start next time. What is a moron? What is an oxymoron? What is a paradox? We'll be looking at more figurative language in the third and final one of this. All right, thank you, guys. Any questions, please leave them in the comments. Anything you want to say, leave them in the comments. And I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.